Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today I want to show you the F28 in the little bit more modern version with the GPS installed, the electronic VSI with the T-cards functioning and so on. So today we are going to fly it as you would fly the airplane nowadays, under GPS guidance and under basically as much automation as possible. So for this we are currently standing at Alice Springs Airport, and from here we are going to fly it to Ayers Rock. Promises to be a very nice little flight of about half an hour flight time, which I'm very much looking forward to, over some great terrain with some great weather as well. So join me in the cockpit. I assume you have seen my tutorial series or the previous videos, so I'm not going to explain too much in this, but I'm actually just going to prepare the airplane and get it ready as I would expect to do it in real life as well. So for that reason, if I'm not explaining too much in this video, then bear with me for that. That's not the overall intention of this particular video. So this is really the quick way of setting up the FOCA for your flight. We're cruising in 240 today, and that is basically this. Obviously, I am still following all the normal procedures on this. But you can see, once you're a little bit familiar with the airplane, it actually becomes quite easy to fly this, and a lot of fun as well. Okay, so let's quickly set up the radios, and then we'll get to the important point, which is going to be the GPS guidance. Now, you can probably expect it already that this is going to be, well, just a quick GPS setup there. Okay, and finally transponder can start heating up. So let's go ahead and do some of the GPS guidance up here. Okay, you can start coming up. And by the way, COM1 can also be handled through the GPS now, obviously. So let's quickly acquire all the satellites we need, and then we'll be ready to go in a few moments. Okay, thank you. Flight plan. We are going from Yankee, Bravo, Alpha, Sierra, Alice Springs Airport towards Yankee, Alpha, Yankee, Echo, Ayers Rock. Okay, procedure, departure, and we've got the Tamso 1 departure of runway 12 today. Load that up, thank you. And for the arrival, we have the RMP approach, runway 31. Here we go, RNAV 31, and the transition to that one is going to be from Alpha Yankee to Echo Alpha, so that's going to be that one. Okay, load, thank you, and we can take the direct flight between the two. Let's have a very quick look into what that looks like, and that is pretty much alright. So this is just a quick and dirty GPS guidance to the airport. Okay, so with that, our GPS is set up. Do note, we've got the GPS enabled down here, and this actually drives our HSI. So, if you see that, now I'm going to Warthog, and we get the standard VOI indications. And once I'm going to GPS, we actually get the correct GPS guidance. And that is actually what we're looking for in this video. So, very quick check on the flight plan. QNH is 1020. Like so, and quick check of the chart as well, then we know where we are going. Save charts, and we're departing down here, Tamso 1 departure. No initial altitude given, so let's say we just about go up to flight level 100, like so, and that's all we need. Okay. Finally, our glare shield setup. We'll take the runway track, the flight director goes to heading, 10 degrees up, and we do not need any of those radios. However, we can, if we want to, And it is good practice to at least set up some sort of a backup. So let's just about take a look at a non-RNAV sit somewhere. 15.9 Alice Springs VOR. 15.9 and 15.9, and we turn the DME on as well. Okay, cool. And that's pretty much all we need for our setup. So I did a little bit of performance earlier. We can go with 170 on each side once again. And for the flaps, we're going to use a flap 11 takeoff, so let's pre-select those speed bugs. Okay, perfect. For the radar, can just leave it off. We have our GNS down here. Alright, cool. So, APU is running by now, generator on, APU air coming on. And then, ground the cockpit. You can disconnect external power, please. Okay, disconnecting GPU. So, close the cargo doors, get rid of the GPU. Parking brake is set, chocks can go. Let's close the door. Before we have that pilot call, reset that, thank you, and then we can close the door. Alright, thank you very much. And back here, everything is pretty much ready. Let's quickly check the pilot call system. Perfect, working. Right then, thank you. And we should be ready to go. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and start up our engines. Anti-collision lights. Oh no, not you, but you. Okay, fuel booster pumps, transponder can go on. And then we are ready for startup. Okay, Thrustmaster on. We have only a single pack on. Anti-collision lights are on. Let's go ahead and start engine number 2. High pressure spooling up. Low pressure spooling up. 15%. .400°, fuel on, and we are starting number 1. High pressure, low pressure, oil pressure, 15. And that looks like a good start as well. Okay, passing 400°, fuel does turn on high, and that's 2 good starts. Clear disconnect, clear signal on the left side with a pin, and have a good day, bye bye. So APU shutting down. And all of that looks good. APU can close its flap. And that seems to be quite ready to me. Right, cool then. Let's turn on the taxi lights. Make sure we are clear on the left, clear on the right. Taxi is a right turn out, and then we can go via Alpha all the way over to the end for runway 12 departure. And that, you know what, those might be a little bit too small for us here, so let's just take Alpha Charlie backtrack. That might be the easiest option. Okay, left side clear, right side clear. The lights are on, the APU shut down now. Perfect. Brake off. This is somewhat of an ironical image, isn't it? We're taxiing here with a Fokker 28, a plane that is over 50-year-old, and then over there we've got the A380, 787 and A350s stored in the desert. That is really an interesting image. Left side clear, right side clear. Okay, time to backtrack. Rope light on. Right, cool. Yoke on, autopilot panel is checked, TCAS on. Lights on, the lift dumper is ready, and then we are basically ready to go. Okay, takeoff confirmation, left seat takeoff, runway 13, flaps 11, speeds 26, 35, 45, 65, and initial climb flight level 100, actually altitude 10,000 it is. And in case of emergency, we can go straight ahead, climbing to 5,000. That should keep us safe all around. For a quick check on the chart. Indeed it does. Okay, if there are no questions on the briefing.
Come through, please take your seats with you.
Okay, they say cabin secure, so please take a seat for departure. Ready? Ready. Lights are on, takeoff.
Power set.
Track.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up.
Gear up.
Flaps up.
Okay, let's put it on autopilot. GPS mode is active. Okay, flaps up.
set climb now.
Okay, increasing thrust. EGT target of 470. Like this. Very good. So, taking the departure turn slow. And once we're out of the turn, we're going to start accelerating. Okay, continue that climb. Looking at flight level 240. Okay, so passing 10,000, time to start accelerating. Do note I assigned the pitch down selector over here to my joystick. For that reason I can operate it while I'm looking forward, making my life a little bit easier here. Autopilot nicely following the GPS. And the pitch target is slowly coming down. Let's increase the speed. We're looking at 270 knots for the climb. Like so. Pitch target roughly 5. Okay, just making sure not to exceed the climb thrust limits. This is a bit too much now. That's better, 470. And our speed is building. It's now coming in. .270 speed hold. Let's see what our cabin pressure is doing. Climbing nicely. Perfect. Okay, we're past 10,000 AGL. Landing lights off. TTCs should have been in climb a little bit earlier. And I would say I don't expect any turbulence, so let's go ahead. Seatbelt and no smoking signs off. Perfect, and with that we are on the way. So now all we need to do really is to keep an eye on the climb thrust, adjusting it as necessary for 470 degrees, and then we can fly along our route. Approaching VNAV profile, we'll disregard that for now. Give me a track up map, please. Thank you. Okay. Very good. Cabin is climbing. And that's really all there is to it. Now, we just monitor the flight. Still needs a little bit of getting used to that all of a sudden we have this hugely complex airplane. And with the GPS guidance, it is so incredibly easy to fly. How does it look like when we just go a little bit to the back here? That's amazing, isn't it? I really love the terrain of the Australian outback. So SimBrief suggested us to climb to flight level 300 for the flight. Personally, I find that to be a little bit high, but then again, our airplane climbs so incredibly well that I'm somewhat considering it anyway. But you know what? No, let's stay at flight level 240. That's, I think that's the better option. Otherwise, we are just going to fly up and then straight away down again. And who wants that? Beautiful. Just beautiful. So is the view outside. Initially I considered flying elsewhere for this trip, but I honestly tell you, it was a great idea to do this over here in Australia. Also, it's been a little while since my Australian friends got something from their country, so... Okay, and obviously, set standard. Gonna cross-check passing 197 now. Checked. Oh, passing 200. Cabin pressure looks good. We're at the target cabin altitude already. Very well. What's our thrust doing? Coming a little bit high. Let's reduce that a bit more. Or 60. Perfect. So I didn't bother inserting any route over here. We are simply going to go straight from our end of the sit to the beginning of the star. But I'll tell you what, with 200 miles to run, let's continue to climb as Simbrief suggested at flight level 300. And then obviously we gotta set the cabin altitude up higher as well. Always set it to 1000 above, like so. And make sure the cabin is climbing. And I'm going to increase the rate of climb a tiny bit here, because we had the cabin level for a while, and that would have put it behind on the pressurization schedule. But let's give it 500 feet a minute. Passengers won't really notice too much anyway. Okay, and here we are. So we can already start looking a little bit into our arrival. In terms of the star, there really isn't much to say. MSA 4700 around Ayers Rock. And for the arrival, it's going to be an RNAV approach, runway 31. We'll have to see if we are actually going to get VNAV guidance from the GPS. That is something that I do not actually know right now. Looking at the indications, when the GPS is on the GPS mode, it seems like we are getting some vertical guidance here on the glide slope information. So I could imagine that we are actually going to have GPS guidance available for a 3D approach and not only a 2D approach, like I would normally fly without the GPS guidance. But we'll have to see about it. We'll plan it as a 3D, and if things go wrong we can always revert to a 2D procedure. The difference between the two is on a 2D procedure you don't have vertical guidance available, while on a 3D procedure, as the name somewhat suggests, you also have vertical guidance. What we can do to prepare this, go to the VNAV page and get some vertical navigation set up. So I want to be a little bit conservative. We start our descent 4.2 miles prior to the Echo Fox fix. So let's say we want to be at the Alpha Yankee 2 Echo Alpha. Minimum is 4,700. Let's say we want to be here in 5,000 so that we can lose a little bit of speed before we start our descent. So, target altitude. 5,000 MSL. Exactly over to Echo Alpha. BS profile 2000. Enter. Begin descent in 9 minutes. However, be aware this does not take into account that we are still climbing a level 300, so we'll probably have to start the descent a tiny bit earlier. Climb thrust is in need of a little bit of adjustment over here. Like that's better. And then we can transition to Mach 0.65 for the climb. So go back into pitch mode. And then use the pitch selector down here. Once again, I'm controlling that through my joystick. In order to pitch up a little bit, let's say 1500 feet a minute, so that we maintain Mach 0.65 for the climb. Pretty much like so. Now we just keep an eye on this. And make sure that we don't become too slow. The plane doesn't have a Mach hold mode. But as you can see, it works pretty well using the speed hold. Or rather the pitch hold, my mistake, sorry. What's our cabin pressure doing? Looking good. Okay, let's reduce this back to the 12 o'clock position, 350 feet a minute. Nice. Okay, pitch up a little bit further even. Our speed is still staying constant above Mach 0.65, more like 0.67 at the moment. $1,000 to go, time to pitch down a bit. Okay, 1,000 foot a minute, looks good. And then we're looking for a cruise at Mach 0.7. What's our temperatures doing? 460 either side, very good. VNAV says descend in 5 minutes. And the plane is leveling off. Okay, height mode has just automatically engaged. So we'll level off, let it accelerate towards Mach 0.7. Around about here. And we're approaching the target speed. And once we're on target, reduce thrust. We don't actually need to reduce it a lot in this plane. Something like this usually works quite well. Now we just have an eye on this. We don't have an auto throttle, but the plane works really well without one. Okay, flight director into altitude hold. And here we are. So, very quick cross-check then against our operational flight plan. Top of climb, 14 minutes, 3,000 kilograms of fuel. And we have 3,200 kilograms. I didn't load any extra, so we saved 200 kilos. But probably had a little, shorter taxi as well. So I tend to say everything is looking good. Okay. 2 minutes 40 until we start our descent again, so things are going really quick on this flight. But I like it that way. I rather see things going quick than things going, 10 hours on. Unless it's real life and I'm being paid for those 10 hours, then I gladly take them. Okay, so let's see. IOS Rock DME 17.1. In 102 miles. Let's see. We're doing 376 knots and 16 minutes to run. That's fine. Okay, so let's cross-check the RMP approach. Here's a quick look into our weather. You can see in IS Rock we got 250 at 15, gust 28, 31 degrees, 1009. So if we look into the chart now, you can see we got a runway 31, so the wind is like 60 degrees off. That means we'll have something around 25 knots of crosswind, making it quite an interesting approach to fly. Most certainly for an airplane that I'm not very familiar with. But that's the challenge, isn't it? So, VNAV in 2 minutes, then we can do a very quick cross-check of our flight plan. So we're coming in up here from Alpha Yankee 2 Echo Alpha, above 4,700. We plan to be at 5,000 here, then we can lose a bit of speed on the way in. So, since we're flying a GPS approach, we need to make sure that all the courses and the distances are going to be correct. So, we leave the 2 Echo Alpha point on 236, 5 nautical miles to the 2 Echo India. And we've got 235, 5 miles to Echo India, which is the intermediate fix, as you can see up here. And then we continue on 306 for 5 nautical miles towards the 2 Echo Fox point. You can see 306, 5 miles, 2 Echo Fox, and this is the final approach fix, as you can see marked in the GPS down here by the Fox Alpha. And then we have a 3-degree descent path down to the runway, 5.3 miles. We can see 306, 5.3 to the runway, so that information in here is correct. And that's basically what we need to check. We can go down a little bit further for the missed approach. And the missed approach on this one is going to be straight ahead to Alpha Yankee 2 Echo Hotel, 2.7 miles, plus of course the length of the runway. And in here we've got 2.7 miles and the 2 Echo Hotel point. And then it's going to be turn right, track 105, climbing 4,700 feet. So in here we have manual sequence on 105 track, and we remember to climb 4,700 feet. Approaching VNAV profile, it's checked. And that basically is the check of our target. That basically concludes the check already. All we need to do. Okay, so with an imminent descent, let's take the target down, 13,000 or so. And then descent to target, 1,900 feet a minute. Okay. Let's do it. Pitch hold. Pitch it down using the pitch knob, and we're looking for 2,000 feet a minute. Something like this. Okay, we'll maintain Mach 0.7 all the way to 290 knots, and that's what we're going to convert onto. Got another message in the GPS. Set course 239. Yeah, it's doing that automatically, thank you. What I will do though is to select the runway track 306, and the course selector is up here. Not required, but just a little backup for situational awareness. Here we go. Okay, nice. And that is basically all we need. Now we're in the descent, maintaining the Mach number until we convert under 290 knots. We can do a little cross-check of the GPS by looking into the DME. This is tuned to IS Rock DME. And we can see 77 miles at 383 knots, makes 12 minutes. We're in roughly 28,000, descending at 2,000 feet a minute. So that means, provided the speed stays unchanged, we're going to arrive at 4,000 feet over at the field. But then keep in mind, we are not going directly here, but we're flying something like this. So that means we probably have sufficient mileage available. In other words, things are going pretty fine. Once again, just look at that scenery. Isn't that just beautiful? And while I'm looking out all the time, I'm forgetting to set the cabin altitude, so let's pull that down as well. What's the field elevation? 1600, and the minimum with RNAV and VNAV, 374. Okay, so 1600. Then we can set 374. Here we go. Okay, approach setup completed. Vertical speed required 2200, so let's increase our VS a little bit. Let's give it 2500 feet a minute. Like this, because we still need to lose a bit of speed around flight level 100, and the GPS does not take that into account with its deceleration. Okay, make sure not to get too fast. We're approaching the overspeed area, a little bit less thrust. But you can see I'm only doing minor variations in the thrust every now and then. I'm not really doing too much there. And the plane is basically controllable really nicely like that. Okay, pulling off a bit more thrust, getting into the landing gear warning horn. But you can simply silence that. You are allowed to go all the way to idle. The manual explicitly states that you can use idle thrust. But as you can see, the speed is dropping really quickly like that. But a little bit of thrust back in, and the speed is back under control. Nice and easy. So, vertical speed required, 2100. Actual 2500, nice. You can do a little bit of mental arithmetics here if you like to. We're going down to level 100. We're doing 2,500 feet a minute versus 2,000. We need 4 minutes to get down, and we're doing 500 feet a minute more than what we should. So we're going to be 2,000 feet below the path by the time we reach flight level 100. Now, 2,000 feet normally is 6 nautical miles on a 3-degree descent path, so we will need around 4 nautical miles to lose our speed over here, since you need approximately 1 mile per 10 knots. In other words, if we add all of that up, we can see that we have around 2 nautical miles to spare. Obviously the vertical speed required becomes less and less, since we're going below the path, but that is totally fine. Okay, signs coming on. Cabin is descending nicely as it should, very well. Can we see something already? Not really. I want to see that rock, but I believe it is quite a bit to the south of the airport. So we are probably not going to go over it, but we'll see about it. $15,000, 43 nautical miles, looks good. Okay, we can continue the descent. Let's make it 8,000 at first. So let's quickly get the latest weather. Interesting. Our destination isn't even in there. Okay. Well, then we got to use the SimBrief weather, which might be a little bit outdated here. So 1009. At QNH 1009, passing 11,600 now. Approaching 10,000, let's pitch up a bit in order to lose our speed. Come on. Landing lights on, flare lights on. So, next up we'll need roughly 1,300 feet a minute. So, let's go ahead and do that. Here we go. And we can go down to 5,000, which is where we are going to start the approach. I'm really wondering if we are going to get a VNAV guidance on the way down. I'm somewhat hoping for it, because everything is programmed correctly in here, but we will see. Okay, 10,000, landing lights are on, lift dampers armed, lights are on anyway, fasten belts are on, and the cabin altitude is coming down nicely. Let's see, 1,600 is the target, that means it needs to descend by 2,000 feet, divided by 350 feet a minute. Yeah, should be fine for our landing. You really get to appreciate those Airbus computers the moment you don't have them anymore. If you're afraid that it might be a little bit hard for you to maintain the speed of the plane without an auto throttle, believe me, if you invest a little bit of time, you will get familiar with it so quickly. I haven't even done 10 flights with the Fokker yet, and I really feel comfortable holding the speed. It is totally normal that occasionally it starts running away, like now doing 5 knots more than it should. That happens to the best, it happens in real life if you're doing manual thrust. The important thing is to spot it quickly and to correct it quickly. Okay, where is the rock? Probably somewhere over here. But I can't make out anything yet. Nope, nothing. The terrain just looks so cool over here in the Australian outback, doesn't it? Okay, getting a bit fast again, but just pull off a tiny bit of speed, and that's all you need. Then let's descend to the procedure altitude, to the platform 4,700. Oh, there's the rock. It just spawned straight in front of us. Wow. That's a big thing, isn't it? And yes, I know, that's what she said. Beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm somewhat tempted to discontinue the approach and just fly straight ahead and have a look at that rock, but I have a feeling we're rather going to do that in the Cessna one day than in the Fokker. Okay, reaching the intermediate fix, let's go to idle thrust. Approaching target altitude, set course 239. Yep, the plane can do that on its own. And here we go. 5 miles to the extended center line. About to start the level off. Very well. So, just a quick thing to prepare in case we do not get VNAV guidance on the approach. In case we don't get any, 2.4 miles prior to the Echo Fox point, we start the descent, 3 degrees. And we'll configure the plane down. 120 knots approach speed makes it 650 feet a minute. It's going to be flap 42 landing, and that should really be all we need. Speed is coming down nicely. Down the final turn in a moment. Here we go. Okay, 4.2 miles. This is where we should start the descent. No VNAV. Okay. Then we do it ourselves. So, flaps 11. Give me 1,000 foot a minute, please. Gear down. Okay, so we need to cross 2 Yankee Alpha Echo Fox. Let's see, 2 miles prior we should be in 3,990. So we are running a little bit high right now, around about 200 feet high. But 1,500 feet a minute should get us back onto the glide path pretty soon. Okay, landing flaps.
2,500.
Correct. And setting the missed approach altitude. 4,700. Okay, 1 mile prior, we're supposed to be in 3,670, and we are indeed. Okay, cool. So 600 feet a minute is roughly what we need. Pitch it up till we got that. Probably could use a little bit less right now. Let's see. Overhead to Echo Fox 3,350. So things are pretty much looking good again. Come on, pitch down. We should be pretty much on glide. Well, getting above it right now. Okay, manual flight. And the runway is straight ahead. A little bit high right now. But nothing that 1,000 feet a minute shouldn't be able to correct. Like so. Okay, 4 miles, meant to be in 2950. We're running like 100 feet high at the moment. But we're still well above the stable gate, so that's no problem at all. Next up, 3 miles, gonna be 2,630. interesting mismatch between the DME and the puppy right now. Should be basically on par. Check. Impossible to tell if the puppies are showing white or red on that reddish soil. Okay, they seem to be showing white. They could be 4 red as well. I just can't tell. I simply can't tell. But we are a bit higher, I can see that. Anyway, continue, 1,000 feet a minute, gets us down nicely, so we're flying somewhere in the outback, that is fine. Oh, that's what a red poppy looks like. Okay. So, 100 foot, use the speed brake to slow it down. And we're done. Okay, welcome to Ayers Rock. Locate to the left, taxi to the apron. Clear left, clear right. Okay. I'll bring it onto the main taxiway, then we do the cleanup work. So the final bits of the RNAV approach were a little bit messy, but then again, we could fly a visual approach without problems out of this. So for that reason, I didn't take it too seriously, and overall, we're still in Flight Simulator over here, are we? Okay. So give that APU 10 seconds to start up. Or rather to open its flap. Starting APU. Clear left. Clear right. Okay, what's going on with my controls right now? Why can I not... Yeah, now I can turn. Okay, that was interesting. Wasn't the gas block blocking them? Yeah, the gas block blocking my rudder. Well, that's certainly not supposed to happen. I updated from the pre-release version to the release version yesterday, and apparently it looks like they did break something there. Okay, here we are. Clear left, clear right. Then number 1 looks like it's got its name written on it. So taxi light off. And here we go. Okay, here we are. Brake set, APU is available. And that is it already. Cool. So, you can open the doors. Okay, gentlemen, time for deboarding, and thank you very much for flying. Could improve my parking skills a little, but without a marshal on, things aren't that easy. In any case, I would like to thank you very much for flying with us, hope that you enjoyed this one, and as you can see, the Fokker is well flyable on the GPS as well. Navigation all of a sudden is no problem anymore, you got VNAV, or you got some vertical guidance to get down. What you do not have is a VNAV on an RNAV approach, but then again, that's kinda asking too much, is it? In any case, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, do let me know in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you again on the next one. In the meantime, if you liked the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And if you really like what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below, or to welcome you as a channel member, giving you exclusive early access to new videos before they're released for everyone else. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.